This is a video talking about the basic functions of pebblepad Plus. So what we're going to do is first of all is log in to the system. We have two options here. We can log in obviously by our administrator password. What we're going to do is I want you to log in through my UCLan, or I am from UCLan, University of Central Lancashire. Click on select. So it takes you to this page. If you want to log into the previous version, so that's the classic or 2.5, which was obviously done majority of the training on, you would click on this option here. If you want to, obviously what we're going to go on today is the newer version, which is pebblepad Plus. We'll click here. What it'll do is it'll push you straight through. As I've already just logged in, what it might do is take you to an interim page, which is just requires you to put your username and password for your university username and password. So as I've already logged in once, it's not going to ask me to see that page again. But if in the sense if it does take you to a page, you just need to put your UCLan. So mine would be JEHill1. Yours will be whatever your first part of your email address is, and then just your standard password, and then it will take you through. Your standard password is the password for your university access, what you got onto the network and so on. So what we're going to do is talk you through each of these buttons here, and we'll obviously try to link it into the previous version, as this is what you've used previously, or you're kind of used to. So first of all, we're going to go to add new. Add news, generally what you're looking at is more forms, so add news about adding assets or forms to your asset store. So we're going to start from the bottom and we'll work our way up. View all is as it sounds, it's view all. So what it allows me to do is view all my current forms which I've developed. I've developed one as a test subject, just so there's actually something in my resource center. But if I've obviously created numerous, multiple forms, this is where my forms would be. For the options within this area, what it enables you to do is if I've created a form and I want to send it or share it, I can obviously select on the form and use the share button and I can share it to people. I might actually, we'll go from left to right, probably is easier. If we use it, that means I can fill it in. So this way it takes me the option to fill the form in, and I can save that. So in a sense that will be a form which I filled in, which I've just made up quickly to demonstrate all the different types of tools you can create within a form. So you'd obviously, that's how you can view it and edit it. Obviously you can edit the form, so that's if I want to go in and change the form. I click this button here and it will bring up the editing tool. We're going to have a look at this editing tool later on. We also got tags, so that's if you want to create a tag of the actual information, so you can add a tag to it. By adding a tag, what it enables it to do is make it easier to search. So for example, you might tag a numerous of your assets as reflections. So you might have 10 assets with the tag reflection. What it means when you go to the asset store, you could type in the word reflection or use the tag reflection as a search tool. It will bring up all the assets with that tag in. So we're going to create some standard tags. So we haven't added them yet, but that's something we're going to develop in the next couple of weeks or couple of days. You can obviously delete, share, which I've already gone into, add, so in a sense you can add it to a workspace. You can publish it, so that makes it available for students or other users, so you can set priorities of publication, and you can copy or move it, so you can duplicate it. So if I wanted two of that form for whatever reasons, I can duplicate the form itself just like that. Just like a standard window browser, if you want to shut something down, you press the X in the corner and you'll see it shut straight down. Let's go into our next form. Our next form's a talent, so it's a way to document talent. That's where I've actually made my temporary form as a talent. So we'll have a look at an ability. So this is a form how to document ability. So I've got a particular talent I want to document and archive. This is how I can capture that. Obviously it's just got fields of information I can fill in. It also has an area where I can add a particular resource if I want to add a file which demonstrates that ability. A photograph of a certificate, or in the sense of an achievement, some kind of award I've got, I can attach that. PowerPoint I've created, that's probably quite an interesting thing to document as an achievement or an ability, so that's probably how you could document that. You could then attach your PowerPoint. What I'm going to do is, I'll do it on another sheet just to show you actually, but we're going to have a look at this tab in a minute down here. Just so I can go through the tabs just to make it clear actually for what the tabs do. You can resize a window by holding onto the little button here. You can document how much time it took you to fill out the form, so this is important if you've got a certain certain amount of time you have to achieve in professional development a year. You can set that. I'm going to do that on another file probably later on. You can obviously view the tags, so if I've tagged it I can see what actual tagging I've used in this particular asset or this form. I can make a comment, so at the moment I haven't filled anything so I can't comment it, but if we'll just put it as a test and then I will open my comments, I can make comments on it. I can obviously make comments and obviously identify when the comments were created. I can view it, so in the sense I can obviously look at a preview of it's being completed and then I can save it and I can exit it. So we're going to exit back out. The other forms we can create are reflections. So these are obviously reflections on certain situations. We'll have just a standard journal entry. We can make a reflection on a certain experience or something we've found within our workplace, within our first week at university. We also have various other forms. This is quite a nice one, that what, so what, now what. So this is kind of more of an action plan reflection. So it sets obviously an action plan for what your next steps would be. Close that. We'll go to our next type of form. So this is an activity. So if, say for example, this way I can document an activity I've been involved with. So we'll have a look at that form. So for example, we'll create one called, I've already created one, sleep. I created one the other day called sleep. We'll call it running. And then obviously you can describe what the running means. What we're going to do is I'm going to assign this attribute or this form a set amount of time. So I'm going to say I did some running as a COPD project, a professional development project, and I'm going to indicate how long I went running for. So I went running for 5 hours, quite a long run. Press save, and you see it's saved it. So what I'm going to do is, that's obviously how to, in sense of how to save form, you've got various obviously columns and areas you can fill in this form. I can obviously set a date for when that actual activity took place, so I can set it on the, put it as 5th, no, put it as today, that'll be fine, and then we'll press save. So obviously what we're demonstrating here is, in a sense, there's a big range of types of forms to document certain experiences. So you've got reflections, you've got talents, you've got obviously activities and different types of meetings you can document. So there's lots of ways that a student can gather information about their course and experience at the university and document in a standard manner. So these are pre-set templates they can use anytime. We've got action plans. So I can set out an action plan if I need to do something in particular. And then obviously I can record that as an asset and save it. It's got a SWOT analysis there. You can set up an action plan. And we've got attach a file. So they say, for example, I wanted to send, I'll put some assignments what I've completed on here, or add, for example, a particular PowerPoint I've done well in. This is where I can add a file to my asset store. So I could name it as just an essay. What I'm going to do is put a quick description of it. So it's an essay. It's just like attaching an email. It's very, very simple. You press browse. You find the particular file. I'm just finding a random driver file, just for example. When you say yes, we can upload it. We press save, and then it uploads to the system, just like that. Brilliant. So now it's attached. What it does, it shows a symbol there. Currently I just sent a random file up, but if it was a particular Word document, it will show a Word symbol. If it was a PDF, it would indicate it's a PDF document there. So it just has a, can identify what type of file it is. If I want to save that, I click save. Obviously you'll, in the sense, I can add it or delete it at any time. So the other thing I can do is a post. So that's kind of just documenting. Looks like a blog. It is actually a part of the blogging system, but it's a way to document kind of a quick experience. What I can do is add other things to my post as well. So if I want to add a picture of something I've done recently, so for example I might have gone, I might be an art student and I want to document things what I saw today. So I want to document ideas what have inspired me today. What I can do is I'll call it as a pics what inspired me today. What I can do is I can add more to it. So I'm going to add some more stuff to it. What it does, it gives me ability to add things by clicking on this little icon here. So now I can have the normal editing options. We're going to go through the editing options when we look at web portfolio building and tool options. But for example, if I just want to put, we'll just put a picture in. So if I want to put a picture in, I can drop it on there, and you'll see what it enables me to do is now I can obviously add a picture to that particular experience by just uploading it to my asset store. So that's that. What we're going to do is we're going to go back to here. I think we've gone through all them. Yep, all completed now, so we'll move on to our next section. But generally what you need to know is that these are the majority of actual just forms, how to document reflections. You can add files, you can add obviously different type of multimedia when you add a post, but the majority it's kind of structured reflections. But you can build these, so if you decide that you want to build your own forms, you can do this, and we'll have a look at the form builder, which is in this tool here. So I'll talk about how you build them later on. So as I've built that one there, that test one, I just built it in the form builder, and that appears. And that when you publish it in the asset store, you can publish it that all students will see it. So anyone who's in your workspace, you can publish it on there. So that means every student you're in charge of will see your particular sense tool or reflection tool within here. So what we're going to do is look at an activity log. So this is our next section. An activity log, we're talking about documenting a set amount of time on certain activities. What you can do is you can use an activity log to auto calculate how much time you spent doing certain activities. So for example, I might want to reflect on reflection, but I might want to look at how much time I spent reflecting last year. So what I could do is open my activity log and then add in the sense of all the assets which have reflection. And if I've used this little tool in the corner here, which is on every window, of documenting time I spent doing this process, it will allow me to add that up. So I'm going to what I'm going to do is just call it test. What I'm going to do is just create a test log, test, just to show you how it works. And then I'm going to add 2 activities which I've done recently, which I've documented. First of all, we talked about running, so we'll add that as an experience. We'll confirm that, and you'll see there it said I've done 5 hours altogether, and I think I've got another asset called sleep. I made it the other day. Yep, we can add that, and you'll see it begins to add up. And if I say, for example, I had a set target, so a part of my professional qualification, I have to do 100 hours of reflection or 100 hours of placement, and I have to document within this system, then what I could do is time log each activity, and then it will obviously add it all up for me. So I can quickly identify how many hours I've got to do and where do I need to do the hours if they're in particular subsections. So that's quite a useful tool. We're going to our next tool, which is a blog. So a blog is just a way to document experiences and feelings in a kind of using dates or using a chronological ordering. So what we're going to do is call it test, so I can fill it in. And what it enables you to do is start adding posts. So I can add posts to particular prior dates. So it's a date which is already passed, I can go into that. I can obviously add dates for today. So what I'm going to do is let's say August the 14th today. So I'm just going to add an experience. Let's have a look at this is where the post comes up. So I'm just going to put test, or we'll just put slept, put run again, run. So then add an experience. It'll probably need a comment within that experience, so we'll post that. And the button's it, and I finally got it. You've posted successfully to your blog, and you'll see there the comments within my blog. So what it does, it gives you a time mark. So what you can do is you can kind of blog every day of what you've been doing, how you've been feeling, and what it'll do is it'll put it in this nice, in the sense of it'll put it in obviously every time I can go back to that date, it will show me what I've done each date. And obviously what you can do is you can do a more of a global look when you go back to the month as well. So it's a pretty cool tool to document your thoughts and currently, obviously how your assignments have been going or how your experience, but you just do it in a kind of a nice, like a diary kind of thing. We save that, save successfully, shut that down. So what we can do is also we can create collections. Collections are a tool that enables you to add lots of assets together quite quickly in a way. If you want to present it, say for example I was going for a job which had a significant role about management, and they were asking a lot about management, and I want to create just a collection of my experiences of management, so I can either reflect on that or in the sense I can use it as a part of a web folio at a later date. So what we're going to do is just add a couple of assets to kind of demonstrate my thought process. So we'll We'll add that one, add, it'll take a second, there we go, and we'll add my run reflection, or my run activity, or is a post, won't it? And then we'll do my sleep, that one, I'll add it there. So you'll see it just adds it in obviously an ornament, which if there was information there, it would obviously display that information there as well. But that means that if, for example, I were building a webfolio at a later date and I needed to add something about management, for example, I could just add this collection in and it will add everything all at once. So it's a way to kind of start building sections of skills together. And obviously, you see how quick I added 3 together then, it was very fast. And we'll call this, just so we can add it at a later date, test. That's nice and creative for me, isn't it? Well, save. Brilliant. Shut that down. We can also create individual pages. So previously in the older version, pebblepad Classic, what you had is you could build obviously a webfolio which have pages within. What this enables you to do is you can build a page at a time, or you can build a webfolio all at once. But when you save a webfolio, what it will do is it will save each individual page. So in your asset store, you don't just get the webfolio as a whole. What you will get is individual pages as well. So what you might find is you can take certain pages out and put them together in a certain order and create a new webfolio. So that gives you that facility there. So we won't go into, it's the same editing tool as what we're going to look at for a webfolio. So what we're going to do is just use a webfolio because it gives us more options, in the sense that it gives us more than just a page. So let's have a look at the design tools. It's got our basic tools around the edges, which we've seen before. We can document your time of experience, obviously you can view it. This gives you slight different tools for your editing. So this is where I name the whole webfolio. This is where I can find information about it, and I can obviously, if somebody's made a comment on it, it's something I'm working on, it will give you the comments there. To build a page on a webfolio, it's a very simple and quick process. So say for example in the previous section we used to have a bar on the editing screen which give you kind of 3 different options. So it will enable you to create text, create picture and text with a picture being on the left, and it will obviously allow you to create text and the picture on the right, and then just a picture. What you can do now with the newer version, it still gives you the same options. So this is how it's obviously compatible with the older version, but it enables you to build it very fast. So I wanted a picture, then I want just a picture on its own, then I want a block of text, so we'll just go on here and put a block of text, and it's all drag and drop. So in the sense of building, it's a very quick and simple process. So I want a picture there and I'll get that from my asset store. So you can build material very, very, very fast, especially if you've got anything pre-made in a Word document. Literally it's a cut and paste, but the process is so fast and intuitive, it's very easy to use. For customizing, obviously it's got a very easy system customizing your decorations, so you can obviously scroll left and right, up and down. I like that one, so I'm going to leave the little robots on for the different decorations. We will eventually get these customized, so you'll be able to upload and add your own actual templates of these, so that's something what they're currently developing for the new release. We can also add particular assets to it, so this is a way you can add previous things you've developed and put forms in, for example, halfway through a page. So let's go and let's go and put the collection we made just a minute ago. Let's have a look. What do we call the collection? Creative me, I called it test. So yep, well, there it is. So what I need to do is go back into here and edit, and then drag it down, let go to collection, which is called test, confirm, and there it goes. So you see it's added it in the page there. So we've got obviously our page up here which has got our pictures in, and now we've added the extra page which is our collection of information. Very easy, very simple. So obviously it's a very easy way to start building contents. You just drag and drop, and there it goes. So that's the editing tool. It'll ask me to save. I'm going to press close. I'm not going to save it, and I think that's it. So let's go into view. Obviously you've got your asset store, which we should all be used to. So these are my current assets. It has the normal, since it's a way you can filter your information by clicking on, say for example, date of creation, which I found quite useful if I've done some work recently. I need to find out when I did it, and click on that. Where you've tagged it, who you're sharing it with, so people who you're sharing it with, and obviously different hierarchies. You've got your normal views, edit, delete, we've already gone through these, submitted and obviously organised. You can do particular searches, so I can obviously look at posts, records, certain types of assets, so my documents, my media. I can search within that, so I can obviously add keywords. So if we go to one which I'll know I have a lot of assets called this because my creative mind. Put the filter on. Sorry. Just click on. There it goes again. Test. Eventually, there it goes. And there's the list of test resources. So let's go into our contacts. So this is where we can obviously add contacts to our kind of page. Obviously we can search. What it enables you to do is search anyone who's actually on the service. So in a sense, I've only got one contact at the moment, but if I wanted to add other contacts, I've got 2 accounts on this, so I could theoretically add myself. I can add my contact to my search, so I'll just search for myself, and there I am. And then I can add myself as a contact. It's good to have contacts in your contact list because then it enables you to share contact more easily. We can create groups, so you can create groups within your contact list. So if you have certain types of asset you commonly share with a group, you can put them into groups and share them at the same time. What I'm going to do is just show you how to share an asset. It's a very simple process. Obviously you can share it through your asset store. So I just went into view, asset store. If I want to share an asset this way, I can go into that button there and share it. You just type in who you want. So let's go and bring our phone book up again and add share it to Gary. And obviously you can set your priorities like the previous version. So we can collaborate, so comment, we can copy and collaborate. So we'll put it high, we'll just put this as a test again. Press share, and Gary will get that in his inbox saying the asset's been shared. What I've got is a little tick to say I've shared it as well. You can, when you're actually in the asset, do the same thing. So let's go and open an asset. Say I wanted to share this. I can click on that little tab here, and I get the same options as previously shown: share, submit, add to, and I can link, which gives me obviously a link into another asset. So I can link them together. So share is quite simple. It's just the same process as what we've just seen a minute ago. So let's shut these down and exit out of our asset store. Messages, this is where if we were currently sharing and working on processes together, this is where you would get your comments and messages coming through your share board and your message board. Currently I'm not communicating with anyone, so I've got no messages through. This can also be seen through a dashboard widget, which is just this little button up here what says dashboard. I click on here. What it does is just it gives you kind of 3 or 4 kind of areas. So these are my current pebblepad feeds, these are conversations I may be having, these are activities on a workspace, these are my current activities with my profile, and these are things I've currently developed or recently developed. So it's quite a useful tool to get quite a lot of information, obviously in a short space of time. So that's just that little dashboard just up there. And our last one is our tagging system, which we're not going to go into any detail because we're still creating the temporary tags or the standard tags for all the assets, but you will be able to create your tabs at a later date for your own assets. Template builder. Template builder is your form builder. So when it says template, it just means form. So it's something you already used, but this is it's a lot easier system. So it's similar to what we do with a web folio. We've got the same toolbar as up here, but obviously with different options for what we can build. So we've got things, for example, if I want to ask a student a question in a form, I just drag the question in. That's a large piece of text. I've got a short piece of text, I can add that in. I've got multiple choices, I can add that in. What you want to do is, probably so you can get used to each of these, is when I first used the form, I just dragged and dropped them all into a form just to see what they looked like, just to give me an idea of what they look like. So the only thing you have to do is bring them across, drag, let go, and you see it just builds it into the form. That one's a drop down menu. It's quite self-explanatory by the look of it. This is a tick box, so that's a multiple choice. This is a tick box option. Let's have a look at a table. It's a calendar, this one actually. We have a calendar. We can also put rating scales on. Let's put a nice rating scale on. You can obviously numerical rating scale. You can put your own comments on. You can create tables, which is a big step forward because there's so many times I wanted to build tables in the old one, and this can nice easily make tables. I can increase how many rows I have, and I'll also obviously create the number of columns and then a number of rows. I can also say, for example, if I want to on the form I want them to add a picture, an asset, or a particular PowerPoint they've made, I can drag and drop and let them have that facility there. So you see how quick it is to build a relatively long form. Obviously I haven't put any text in it, but you can see how easy it is to start building it as a template, and then obviously you just put the information in. We will have a quick look at this. I'll just need to give it a quick name so we can see it. Let's call it test 2. Apply to all. Confirm. I need a category. This is where we talked about before. This is where it would actually, if I published it in my resource center, this is what category it would appear in. Apply, confirm, and you see now I can now view it, and here's the form. I can obviously add information in. I can set dates for when I achieved certain activities. I can fill out the columns within a table. It will ask me to save it, which I don't want to. So you see how easy it is to build a form. In like a matter of seconds you can build a quick form and then begin to fill in the contents. Save. Where were we? Okay, the next thing after building the form, this is where it's stored, which is in our resource center. You see I just made that test 2. This is where I can use them, I can edit them, I can tag them, delete them, share them, publish them to a gateway. So now I've just published it. I can publish it so it's global, so that means everyone in my share, in the sense of the workspace, can see it, so I will share it. Also enables you to create a HTML for it. So if I say, for example, wanted to copy that and put that in a Word document for students to fill it in, I can copy that. What it means is that they would type, in the sense they would click on that link, and it will automatically take them to their web folio, and then automatically take them to that particular form I built. So it's a way to kind of embed pebblepad contents into, obviously, course material, which is kind of what we're looking for long term. You can do your organisation, which enables you to copy and move and so on, which we've had a look at a bit ago. So that's your resource center. That's where you'll build your resource in the sense of your templates. In future developments, I'll have another option here. I assume it will be in this area, which will be about workbooks. At the moment, we are building our workbooks theoretically as our web folios. What they're going to do is going to build another type of web folio, which is going to be a blank web folio, and they're just going to rename it, calling it a booklet. But just in case that's a development, obviously you're going to be aware of it, and I'll release a new video training you on them particular features anyway when it comes out. Atlas is what we're going to have a look at a later date. The reason why we're not looking at the moment is currently we're having issues with your administration rights. So we're going to be looking at that over the next week, and obviously I'll create a video when that's all up and running smoothly. There's no point trying to confuse you with it at the moment. Settings, obviously we've got our notifications. Currently I don't have, in the sense of my administration stuff, I don't have anything at the moment on there because I'm not logged in as administration, but if you do have administration rights, so some of the pebblepad users may have, in the sense of PAs may have some administration rights, you'll see an administration tool on there, and what we'll do is we'll create a separate video about them administration options. So what it's going to do is open a separate page. These are our settings. This is quite a good page in the sense of the setting page in regards to making sure you're not going to be inundated with lots and lots of messages through pebblepad. So anytime somebody makes an adaptation on one of your assets, you'll get an update alert. Somebody shares something with you, you'll get an update alert. this can be quite annoying if you were dealing with 150 people. If they're all working theoretically at the same time, you could be getting 150 emails coming through, and obviously it's going to clutter your emails up. So what you can do is you can set it so it releases as a time release. So you can get it so it releases every day at, say for example, 12 o'clock, and once a day at 12 o'clock you'll just get a general update of every activity what's happened in 24 hours. And you can set how much information you get. So I'll get that as an email, and also I'll get any decisions as well, grades when they come through. So you can set your levels. I don't want them on my feeds anymore. I want that on my feed. So generally the basic settings are fine. I wouldn't really mess around with them too much. You press save and it will give you confirmation of saving. And we'll go back to our pebblepad area. Basically that's the main features of pebblepad. Obviously if we need to go into anything at a later date, we'll obviously make some more videos. This is only really a video for the people who kind of didn't turn up to the training for whatever reason. So in the sense if you're on annual leave or you're ill, this is just a quick video to kind of go through that. So this is going to be one of many different training videos which will come out on pebblepad, so don't panic if, well, I didn't get all that, it was too quick, or I need to go through it again. This video is obviously on YouTube, so you can watch as many times as you want. Additionally, we will be making lots and lots of videos, so anytime we get a question through in regards to how do I do this, what we'll do is we'll make a video and when we do it. So when we talk somebody through the actual demo, if we're going to send you some information on how you do it, we'll record that actual demonstration, and then what we can do is we can archive these, so at a later date like this video it can be watched and then used whenever it's needed. So theoretically you can only get, we get asked so many, because it hasn't only got so many functions, we'll only be asked so many times how to do things, and eventually we'll have a video for every function within the actual software. So obviously the basic functions kind of took half an hour to go through the major kind of areas, and like I say, you'll probably need to watch this maybe 3 or 4 times to kind of make sure you've learned the basic functions. But like I say, it should be quite intuitive, so in the sense I didn't need to spend any time